evening all, welcome to Total Dust, and what you see here before you today is a is happenings within the game. That's about as interesting as it gets, really. The game, it feels so good. I've been playing, you may have seen other videos on my channel, H1Z1, which is a brilliant game, and you should be playing it because if you play sorry, let me say this right. If you play Dust, that means you have a PlayStation. Duh. If you then obviously you probably like console gaming, right? If you have a PlayStation, that means you enjoy shooters on console. That also means that you should be interested in H1Z1 because it is destined and designed, dare I say, for life on PS4. And let me tell you why it's important, because H1Z1 is, except the sci-fi bit, which is quite a big bit, but except the sci-fi bit is basically what Legion is going to be. Okay, what wild statements bandied about willy-nilly, I hear you cry, but it is true, because, and let me explain why. Because as you all know, Legion has been a fusion of Borderlands 2 and DayZ. Those are the two inspiring mediums that have created that desire to make a game which is open world, so it's completely open world. You go and fight drones and stuff and loot and salvage. You then have to get your loot back to a base where you can be ambushed in local, effectively. And that's the premise of the game. And obviously in the EVE universe, which will make it glorious and toffee and caramel coated loveliness. But in essence, that is the game. Funny enough, that is pretty much what H1Z1 is also about. Funnily enough, again, using that statement way too many times, H1Z1 is going to have a mission system as well. So that's kind of why I like it, I guess. I've always liked the DayZ open world games, but DayZ got a bit serious. It's the kind of game that your dad plays, is DayZ. It is fun. It's a very, very fun game, but it's a little bit complex. And I think, to be honest, it's not kind of easy access. You know, you have to run about like a knobhead to get a gun. You then have to fight off snipers who will kill you from a distance and never even seen them, blah-de-blah-de blue. And so DayZ to me always has as we would say, a high barrier to entry, which sounds ruder than perhaps it needs to be. Whereas H1Z1 is going to be a bit more easy. Plus, and this is the important bit, it's going to be the first crafting open world survival horror. I guess it's not even an MMO, but it's all of those things on a console because it is destined for PS4. Now, let me tell you why that's important. I love H1Z1. If you haven't seen any of our videos on it, go check them out, because hopefully it shows you something that we're going to talk about now, which is the wonders of story-created content. God, that's too early for me to say that, but in essence what that means is when you have a gaming experience, and you'll know this, so search your memories, young Padawan. You will remember that you've played games and something's happened in that game that's made you think, oh my god, that was funny, oh my god, that was terrible, oh my god, I'm angry, whatever. It would provoke emotion, and that would then create game stories within your mind. Now, that is pretty much what these kind of sandbox games are about. Minecraft's, unfortunately, the biggest one of this is that people will say, oh my god, remember we made that castle out of wool and it set on fire, lol. Well, yeah, okay, that's a little bit twee, but that is a story created by the game, not intended to be by the game. H1Z1 is filled with these things. Now, Dust also has this, because as we're playing now, you know, these are rounds that you'll think to yourself, oh my god, that was amazing XYZ, because, yeah, oh my god, I did a shotgun and I got 10 people in a row, and oh my god, I did a mass driver and this guy went so high, he landed on the building, and oh my god, I shot someone with the core flaylock and he did the split so high that his legs went behind his head, or whatever. Those are the kind of funny stories that people like, and that is what drives the content. That is also usually the zing moment, the kapow moment, or whatever you want to call it, where you realise, I said kapow, not tapow. There you go, reference for the slightly older gamers there. I remember tapow. Anyway, I actually don't, because I'm not that old. Haha. I don't know why I even mentioned it. I just remember tapow. There was something on the news about tapow, because the lead singer died when she fell out of a motorboat. I think actually she got hit by the propeller, which is terrible when you think about it. I mean, that's no way to go. Crikey. That's like owning a chocolate factory and falling in the chocolate mixer. It's just stupid. Anyway, I completely forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, so basically, I think to be honest, you should be enjoying all games that give you some form of story creation, and I think Dust is strong with this. But I hope Legion is going to be built with that storytelling engine. Another game we're playing, and I'm not just pitching these games because they get low views. Well, yeah, I actually am, but I'm doing it in such a subtle way that you'll never realise I'm doing it. Anyway, RimWorld. RimWorld is a great example of this as well, because it's kind of just, again, weirdly enough, it's a round-based colony creation game. So you're not supposed to live with your colony forever, you're supposed to let it die eventually. And it's very akin to Dwarf Fortress. And Dwarf Fortress is, again, an incredibly, I guess, story-driven led game, where you play it and something happens, and then you have a wonderful story of how everybody died, or how you had a massive battle and everybody died, or how you did this amazing raid on a goblin siege and everybody died. It's literally that kind of thing. And I think that is the wonders of game creation and creating of sandboxes that then produce player-made stories. And I would urge CCP to do this. Now, again, there will be some wonderful, and there are some wonderful stories of this ilk in Dust, because people who've done PCs maybe, and you've been sneaky majikis, and you've managed to I don't know, you've got onto the enemy team and you've infiltrated, you've done something that is worthy of song, and basically that's meant that you've had a very good round, so therefore that's something you'll talk about for many years. That is glorious. I really hope that there are many moments like this. I mean, I've got to admit, I don't have too many of them for myself other than what you see in the videos, because we play a lot of rounds, but we'll only put the good videos up, or the good rounds up. And to be honest, there's been so much fun in this game, and I think that that is something I'm really excited to see what happens next with it, because I think already there's such an exciting potential with Legion. I really hope it does come as well. I know there's a lot of worry that it may not. I think FanFest not talking about it after announcing it last year is a bit like disappointing, but again, CCP must have their reasons. There's not a lot more we can say. I suspect it's just not ready, and after last time I think maybe it was overpromise under-deliver again, although not intending to be, but that's the passionate developers. Surely they want to, any developer that doesn't want to show their stuff I would be quite wary of, because again, at the end of the day, it's a service, it's an industry, it's all about that kind of thing. So I would say, if you have these kind of desire and love for these kind of games, then, rejoice, because there is going to be this kind of game coming to the PS4. Now, we're not loyal to any particular console here, because I also do actually own an Xbox 360. I never understood the console wars when, I'm a working man and I can have both. So that's what I do. I haven't yet bought a next-gen console because there's just been nothing there. Destiny was the one that almost made me do it. Almost. But Destiny it's a fun game. It's all right. But it's nothing that you could play for a very long time. It's not like Dust. For some people it will be, because that'll be their own experience of an online MMO shooter, which is fair enough, but for me, not so much. I didn't get it, and I think, to be honest, there's still not enough on the PS4 that makes me go. H1Z1 coming to the PS4 will exactly make me look again at that point, because it's just the right kind of game. And let me paint a picture that hopefully Legion will have as well, because this is really what we want from Legion as well. You'll log into a server, right? And it'll be a local server, so therefore there'll be no lag, which is good. And then what you have the ability to do is to do anything. You can sit and hunt, you can sit and build your base, you can sit and craft, you can basically just look at the market if you wish, and this is the thing you can do. And you can basically combine hundreds of things to make hundreds of recipes, hundreds of crafting capabilities. But what the most important part of this is that, those guys across the river, they looked at your women a bit funny, didn't they? So you can basically decide that you don't like them for that very reason and then go war with them. And that is a wonderful, wonderful concept, that you could have two massive player-made bases, and the bases are completely player-made. And you decide that you don't like, those lot over there because they look funny. So therefore, you're going to go and smash their skulls in with the butts of weapons, axes, etc. And for Legion, obviously, that's going to be very interesting, because tanks and dropships, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, in H1Z1, that is the concept of the game, is that you'll have massive gangs on servers prowling and fighting and dominating. And I think that is the piece that has been completely missing from Dust, is that you can never bring your numbers to bear, so you can never literally influence the outcome by just goon rushing a place. And I think by having games like Legion, where in theory there will still be a capacity, but you could get potentially dozens, hundreds, maybe, into a map to then pretty much control that map, and that is an exciting concept. I hope the persistent battlefield thing sits, so you don't just disappear back to your war barge. You actually will say that your home is on the base, on the ground, that you then have to maybe defend. So that would need, the crafting system would be something nice to see in Legion, because that would then give you the reason to actually not be sat kind of AFK in your quarters. Now, I know there's obviously server issues and all that. Technically, this is a very challenging thing to do, but we're not looking at that. We're looking at the dream of what a modern game, or what people want from their modern gaming, would look for with a game like Legion. And I think, to be honest, it is that DayZ Borderlands-esque style open world. Let's see where we can go. Let's see what we can do. Any missions today? Okay, no, let's go raid for resources. Let's go and craft something. Let's go and maybe kill that base over there because they're stepping on our toes. And that is a glorious, wonderful concept, but that I would relish with the Dust universe, with its wonderful array of guns, its wonderful vehicles, in that you could just load up a dropship with a bother squad and go and literally curb stomp people. Well, not literally, but you could go and curb stomp people who are in the local area that you want to have words with and altercations with. And I think that's quite a nice little feature. I really hope that is the freedom it brings. I think this is the kind of thing, really, because Dust is 2 years old now. It is showing its age a bit. It is very typical of the Counter-Strike-esque lobby shooters. But let me tell you another thing that kind of surprised me as well, is that when you look at how good some of the Counter-Strike shooters are now, most particularly CSGO, with the spectator tools, with the ability to kind of comment upon them, that is also a massive missed trick. And I would urge CCP to get in on the Twitch scene more so, because you could just every day be streaming matches of this game. I mean, that is what grows the interest in the game. Is you get somebody from CCP to sit there, create a Twitch channel, create the streaming capability, and then just stream each map. If you want to get Dust out there, adverts and and you're not allowed to advertise, then Twitch is for free. All you need to do is set up the overlays and pay an intern. It could be an intern, for God's sake, to just sit there and every night and every day stream when they're working, when they're not, whatever. And just stream matches from some point of view. Now, unfortunately, you can't do it from the protagonist's view. You need to do it from a spectator view. But surely there's something there. Surely there are dev tools of some kind that you can use. Because if there's not, what a massive missed opportunity. Because if you think of the way that people watch CSGO tournaments, every time they start the match, you see their loadout on the screen, and it then say what gun they've got, how much ISK it's worth. It's a wonderful kind of informational display. And people sit and watch that all day. And I think if you did that for Dust, it would take some time to get off the ground, but wow, you would start to get people interested. But again, is there any point? Is there any desire to do that? Is there any, inkling that Dust is going to be around forever? Well, the answer is no. I think the reality is maybe that would be something for Legion. But either way, I implore CCP to get in with the new media age, for God's sake. It's this time. So there we go, look at that, great scores all round. Hope you enjoyed that, see you next time.